Hey Claire, happy Friday. No better way to spend a Friday morning than some recreational activities and running trains. Uh, Probably gonna put the Amtrak on the main line soon. I just have to figure out how I'm gonna organize this long ass train into the yard. Or I could just swap engines and leave the long train here and make it even longer by adding two Amtrak passenger trains to it. Or passenger cars, sorry. I think it's a better idea. Wow, that sounds interesting. I work today, so it won't be until later before I can. Looking forward to spending the weekend working on my layout. Yeah, I actually just completed this section, which is, for those of you who don't know, is inspired by the Red Caboose Motel out in Strasburg, PA. So I got the basics done. Obviously, laid out the landscaping, gravel, right, for the area. Have my little entrance into the little area here. So I'm going to connect the road, and it will be like a little this will be like a little, almost like horseshoe curve, right? Like a little rare fan park area, which will then lead into the Red Caboose Motel area, right? So you got your road here. This would be what my version is the restaurant slash check-in, which is like the long passenger car right here. Restaurant slash check-in, parking area, right around here. Obviously, then you can either park there or park your car next to whatever caboose you're staying in. As you can see, kind of, I have like a pathway kind of marked out a little bit, just kind of to show that people have walked there and there. Little park area in the back here. And then I'll put fencing along the lines here. This will be your out to leave the Red Caboose Motel. One way in, one way out. Yeah, so fencing will go along here and here. I'm planning on putting figures, rail fanning here and whatnot. I got to get some HO scale cars. I just also finished, hold on. Sorry, a little skinny back there. Finished this little median in the road here. Added a lovely little tree, which I got for like $12. It was like stopped at a hobby shop in Connecticut, and what should we call it? This hobby shop had a bunch of like random like Ziploc bags of trees from like a layout they broke down. So I got that for like $5-10. So awesome addition. And yeah, added some trees over here, tree there. So starting to get back into working on scenery. And then eventually in the next couple months, I plan on finishing the scenery on my mom's N scale layout here. For those of you who don't know, this is my mom's N scale layout. DC and DCC. She has both controllers right over there. She only has one DCC N scale. Doesn't run that great, but it does run. But I do planning on getting her better ones. Although it seems that it runs better on DC than it does on DCC, so it might just be a DC layout. But that's a Burlington Northern. She has 2 steamers. Oh, she actually does have 2 DCC. The small Mogul runs a lot better than the 484 that I have, the Northern. But as you can see, I've been incorporating my Legos into her layout as well. But this should be fully detailed probably, I want to say, by the end of December. I'm not doing too much. It's mainly going to be Lego stuff and then a couple of like trees and whatnot from like Woodland Scenics and stuff like that. But mainly just very simple. As you can see, my lake and river here, very simple. It's just some foam from Michael's Crafts that I just cut out with an X-Acto knife and added the bank here. I'll probably add some sand maybe or something like that. But yeah, pretty cool if I do say so myself. But let's get this Amtrak. Oh, jeez Louise, I just dropped my fan. Oh no. Still works? Still works. Let's get this Amtrak on the main line. I'll set you guys up here, right bolt. What? Oh, thank you, Claire. Alright, we need to stop the steamer. Which, I don't remember what button it's on. It's on 2, I think. I gotta wait for it to do a loop. In the meantime, I'll grab the Amtrak passenger cars. I did actually have to adjust these passenger cars. I had to cut off the details here so it can go around my layout. Because this would only run around 24-inch curves, and I have 19-inch curves. So now, it fits on 19-inch curves. And it doesn't look half bad, to be honest with you. Let's slow her on down before she gets to the points here. I can also do a steam blowdown. Oh yeah, I forgot. Alright, let's unhook this. Perfect. Alright, let's move the Amtrak out first. Nice and smooth and easy now. Just gonna get the Amtrak. There we go, nice. Oh, I forgot to switch the point. Oops. There we go. Always remember to swap your points, ladies and gents. Alright, we're gonna back her up all the way to the other side. And we're gonna connect her. We're gonna move the snow plow here or add the passenger cars on that side. Huh. Getting Wegmans notifications. Not like I work there or anything. Track is a little dirty. Nothing I can't clean off with my fingers real quick. That's the perks of being in the basement. Tracks get a little dirty, a little dusty. Alright, we'll pull the Amtrak right into that straight right there. Okay, onto the steamer. Wow, that Athearn is so much louder than Bachmann. See, normally this is like all behind the scenes stuff for when I shoot my videos and my reels and whatnot. Like, a lot of the times when I prep, it's literally me swapping engines around via the layout, not like lifting it and plopping it down. I do that sometimes on stream because it's easier, but I figured I'd show you guys how I normally try and organize everything. I try and do everything with the locomotives. The only thing manual on my layout is literally the switches, because I like being hands-on with the switches. Makes it for a very interactive layout, and I enjoy switching the switches manually via my hand rather than a electric switcher thing. All right, hold on. Let's change this whistle real quick. Damn, that's a Reading Hooter. All right, I like that. I'll accept. Let me just make sure that this switches properly. The switches are been thoroughly used over the last year or so, or a couple years or so. Sorry. Nice. All right, we're gonna pull her in there, right in there. That is the name of the game. Manual is the way to go. Good morning, Full Gecko. Yeah, it is. I personally like manual just because, for one, it's more interactive. Two, I feel like you said, Claire, you had problems. I feel like if I switch to electrical, I'm just gonna have a bunch of problems. Wiring and this and that and blah blah blah. So I try and stay as simple as possible while also having fun, while also it being not too hands-on to where, you know, it's not really too realistic, but I digress. All right, in she goes into the yard. Do a steam blow down while I'm at it. Nice and slow. I don't need her derailing. All right, let me add these passenger cars real quick on the other side for you guys. I'll be right back. Luckily, these aren't powered, but they do have metal wheels, so they're still. I would always shut your layout down, obviously, when you're adding new cars and whatnot to the layout, but I'm being extremely careful. And again, these cars aren't powered, so it's not too much of a hazard. Oh, right. But again, electric, metal, still want to be careful. You don't want to cause a short and break anything on your layout, you know what I'm saying? Okay. So shout out to Ben's Trains on Instagram and on YouTube. He does a lovely little show called Train Talk Tuesday on his. Whoa! Sorry, I just noticed the mini snowplow on the bottom here, and that's pretty cool. Anyways, he does a show called Train Talk Tuesday on his Instagram, where people come and join and talk about their model trains and their layout. He also does like special announcements with some awesome train companies, model train companies and whatnot, as well as his own, Ben's Trains themed cars and whatnot. But he runs the Train Talk Tuesday Awards at the end of every year, and that just made a a sound that I never heard. I was lucky enough to be in a winning category, or a winner of one of the winners of a category that he had this past year, and I was able to get this lovely Amtrak over here for, I think it was $150 when it was originally listed for 300. So I got it for literally half off, or maybe a little less than that, but it was pretty good. I actually have a YouTube video on it up on my channel. Speaking of which, hold on one second. Oh. I also just posted the second episode of Ride the Rails with Mr. Model Trains.
That's me.
So episode 2 is up. We took a look at the Shoreline Trolley Museum out in East Haven, Connecticut. It's a really awesome episode, you guys. Oh shoot, I forgot to set the points. Always set your points. Jeez Louise. Okay, back her up slow. I'm surprised she even went through the switch at that speed. That was amazing. I was ready to crank her up and have her just zoom on the main line. She was about to zoom on here and probably potentially crash into the already broken tower here. All right. Anyways, there we go. Drop you guys a little lower. Oh, sorry. Forgot to put these trees in here. Literally today. I'm gonna move you guys to the straight over here so you guys could see something's off the track. What is off the track? What is it? Nope, it fixed itself. Oh. Okay, does it like going this way? The Train Talk guy, that's Ben's Trains. That's Ben's _ trains on Instagram, and on YouTube. Every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Okay, I don't think my passenger car likes to go that way. So I gotta swap the directions of my Amtrak real quick. Hold on. I'll put it on this side. Yeah, Ben's Trains. Claire just put it down in the chat, but it's Ben's Trains on both Instagram and YouTube. His model train show called Train Talk Tuesday. He does every Tuesday at 8 p.m. He actually just hit his 200th episode. Episode was wild. It was awesome. He had a bunch of people on there, including myself. I haven't been on there in about a month or two, I gotta be honest. I've been a little slacking on joining the live. But I've always been watching, whether I join or not, I always watch. But I had to hop on the 200th episode. I couldn't miss the 200th episode. I had to support my boy Ben. He's an awesome guy. Oh, yeah. I paused because I forgot which way I was going. But yeah, awesome guy. Awesome dude. Sorry. Swapping the directions. I guess this is where a turntable would come into clutch. Yeah, and it's not just HO, just like Claire said. Any scale is welcome. No matter what you have. Even if you don't have any model trains and just have train-related things, if you're not into model trains but do like trains and are a rail fan and collect, memorabilia and stuff like that, by all means, join. Show it off. We love that stuff. The show is just for a way to us rail fans and us model train nutheads to come together and show what you have in your collection, new stuff, old stuff, you know, connect with other model train and train enthusiasts. You know, it's just a great way to keep the model train hobby and just rail fan kind of enthusiasm and hobby alive. Yeah, it's just a great way for us to connect both, you know, older and younger people of all ages join and are connecting with each other, no matter who you are, where you are. I mean, it's great. People from even other countries have started coming and joining the show, which is awesome. Yes, Datafied is also another great show. Don't know how that happens. Alright. Alright, just gonna zoom in a little bit for y'all. And I'll move my lamp back to where it's supposed to be. Boom. And I'll get the New York Central diesel up and running too. Alright, cranking the Amtrak a little bit faster. I'm going to slow down the Amtrak a little bit just so you guys can see the cars that I am running. Amtrak Walters cars. I'm not sure what phase Amtrak they're from. Canadian Forest boxcar, Tropicana, and then a Northwestern cattle car, I think. Couple flat cars coming up. This is cool. These are Alaska Railroad log cars. I also think this is pretty cool. Pennsy Power and Light Company. And then the last car here, this box car, is a special edition Lionel HO scale 50th anniversary of the Pennsylvania Railroad Museum. Has 4 different pictures on it, 2 on one side and 2 on the other. And they're pictures of the displays that they have in the museum. And then I'll pick this up and turn it around and show you guys. Their GG1, and I think it's either their K4 or their G5. Not entirely sure which one it is. Oh, here comes New York Central. I do have another cool Lionel HO scale car for the Strasburg Railroad. But that car is unfortunately broke, and then I turned it into a display car on the layout. So, but I want to get more of these. Hopefully, maybe next time I go back to the Railroad Museum of PA, if they still have any in stock, I'm gonna buy like at least. I'm gonna buy another 2 or 3. Ooh, I'm into Japanese trains, as a trip there over Christmas got me into the hobby. I'm really partial to the Endoshima trolley style with the tight alleys and beautiful scenery. That is super nice. I've seen a couple of YouTube videos of some Japanese people modeling that stuff, and I have been inspired to eventually put maybe like a high line on my layout with either a trolley or maybe like a subway system like New York City. You know how some people will have like their subway system like below, but I kind of want like a high line, so it's like a raised. Sorry, let me zoom out. So it's a raised thing, so it kind of goes over my track. And it would be like a circle, just a simple circle that like one, maybe go over a couple points here, go through the city. I still have to do the city. The neighborhood is done. I just want to add maybe 1 or 2 more houses, but I need to add a couple more downtown buildings and some more shops. As you can see, I got the industry over there. For those of you who don't know, I'm using my very old wooden Thomas buildings here for when I was a little old rail fan. Still works, by the way. Barrels would come out of here, and then you would put them on the cars like that. But I figured I have all these cool Thomas wooden buildings from when I had like a giant wooden train table set, and I didn't want to throw them away because they're super meaningful to me. So I was like, let me use them as industries on my layout. And surprisingly enough, for HO scale, they look pretty great. They'd probably look a little bit better on the N scale layout in terms of like sizing and proportions and ratios and kind of being more realistic looking. But I think it looks great on the HO scale layout. And as you can see, which is really cool, this is a chocolate factory, and next to it is buildings for molasses, flour, oil, stuff you need to use to make chocolate. Again, just finished that. Super cool. United States Army DC unit. I think it's from Athearn or Walters. Runs great, and it is heavy. One of my heavier engines on my layout. Right over there is, it used to work before it broke, but was a United States Army missile car. And it would actually launch the missiles off and into the distance. Unfortunately, that broke, so I had to glue the mechanism open so it can actually fit and display one of the surface-to-air missiles that they have on here. It's literally called a SAM missile. It has SAM on it. which is super cool. Surface-to-air missile. I think that's... I'm a big military history nut, too, as well. I actually have a World War II... a replica World War II helmet over there. And some other helmets, Star Wars stuff, too, but... yeah, I had another military, like, artillery anti-aircraft car, but I seem to have lost it. So... I am in the process of looking for a lot more military stuff because I do want to create a military consist. I have the awesome Castleberg. Hello. I have that awesome Spirit of America F7, I think, or F9. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. I could probably repair it, but it might take me a little bit. But it's great. But I think it would look great behind that, or obviously, of course, the U.S. Army locomotive here, which I didn't know. I thought like this paint scheme for the U.S. Army was like what you call it, like a fantasy scheme, but they actually had locomotives in the red and yellow, with the red and the yellow lettering. So I did not know that. Did not know that at all. Oh, look, here are one of the barrels, actually. These are one of the barrels that go into my very old Thomas Industry building there. I don't know if this will this stay on the flat car here? I forgot to change the frickin' points again on the inner loop. Let's see if that stays, because my turns are cambered, so I can run it at higher speeds without some of my stuff derailing. No, I did not switch the points. I'm hearing like a click clack, and I'm like, I know that's not the wheels because they don't sound that loud. Turns out I forgot to set the points, so the spring was slapping back. Just let me move this. This was from my O gauge layout. I now added it to my HO layout because it looks good, actually. I know it's significantly taller, but it looks pretty good on here. Not too shabby, if I do say so myself. Quite honestly, I haven't spent much on scenery. A lot of it is used either from Lego, hand-me-down stuff like some of the stations here. Probably the most I've spent on is grass and ballast. A lot of the trees are hand-me-downs and or just like broken down trees that I've gotten from hobby shops when they get someone's whole layout and they just like rip the trees off. Like, for example, I was telling someone else earlier, I got a bag of trees, used trees from somebody else's layout that they had ripped up when they were breaking it down for, I think it was like $5 or $10, and it was like, I don't know, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's like 10 to 15 trees in there. So, but anyways, let me put you guys on the main line like I was gonna before, so you can see some trains rip through the main, aka this Amtrak. I'll put you guys right there, right in the action. Don't worry, I'm going to crank her up. I'm just getting the lighting all good for y'all. Back her up a little bit. Boom. All right. Let's crank this Amtrak, baby. On the main line, y'all. Oh my gosh, there's so much shit I have everywhere on the floor. I got to clean up around here, but... I'm going to crank up the Amtrak as fast as I can run it on my layout. probably get it a tad faster. Yeah, now she's falling. I'm actually going to come over there and see it for myself from your perspective, guys. I have to come over here and see this for myself. I want to see how fast this is going. Oh, thank you. I like putting stuff in my hoppers. Normally, it's either random stuff, junk on my layout, right? Leftover scenery crap. So I try and not throw that stuff out and just save it and utilize it for stuff like putting shit in my hoppers, making it look like it's hauling, maintenance stuff, grass clippings, junk, random stuff. So, one of the things I always say is always save your extra stuff. Don't throw anything out. Always save the stuff. You never know what you can use it for. Like, for example, loading up hoppers. And holy crap, that is flying. The Amtrak looks like prototypical speed almost. Like if it was in real life. I mean, minus the giant freight train behind the two passenger cars. Like, here's a great speed comparison. The New York Central cruising and the Amtrak ripping. Now for you guys, I'm going to put the E6 Atlantic on in about a minute. That is my fastest steam locomotive I have. Your P-42 hauled a shark. Oh, that's right, Shark Week. I totally forgot. Oh, I should have done something like, damn. Claire, that's good. But I'm going to put my E6 Atlantic Pennsylvania Railroad steamer on in a minute. That's my fastest steam locomotive on the layout. And we're just going to crank it and see how fast it can pull this long-ass train. I dropped my recreational thing. It's all good, though. We're good. We get in the hood. All right, one last blast. I'll speed it up a little bit more for you guys. Sorry, this might take a second to slow down. Using the dynamic braking feature that it has. Okay, let me put on the E6 real quick. I do have to stop and actually lift up my locomotives here because I don't have a turntable. I guess I'll do a double header with the Atlantic coastline and the E6, because I know the E6 for sure can pull that bad boy. Wow, this is a heavy train. All right, this will be the longest consist I've ever pulled, I think, now officially on my layout, and you guys are witnessing it firsthand. Here we go. Just gonna take the Atlantic coastline unit off because actually I don't need that on. All right, here we go. Let's see if this thing can pull this train. Got some wheel slip. We'll speed her up slow. Oh yeah, she's ripping now. Woo! I'm surprised this little engine can pull such a long train. This is a Broadway Limited, by the way, E6 Atlantic. I'm hanging out. Holy crap. I think we can actually get it to go a little bit faster than that. We might actually hit top speed. Hold on. I'm going back to the control room. Hold on a second. I'm getting excited now. Alright, we are 2 notches away from full speed, ladies and gents. 2 notches away from full speed on this locomotive. This is the fastest I've ever ran it. Holy shit, it is going. And it is pulling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 cars, and it's not like they're light cars. They are decently heavy cars. Throttles go that high for a reason. Run it. I'm running it. Full speed, baby. Oh, yeah. We are at full speed. I don't know how long I'm going to run her for at full speed, but we are at full speed. Oh my God, that is ripping. It's handling it. My curves are like this for a reason. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. I'm going to hit the whistle. I'm going to run back. Oh my goodness. Oh my God, did you guys just see me running? I almost just busted my butt. Holy shnikes. Ladies and gents, we are at full speed with this E6 Broadway Limited Atlantic Pennsylvania Railroad, pulling 14 cars behind it. That's right, 14 cars. That is literally, that fits the whole mainline straight. Almost. The mainline straight and the curves on both ends of the straights is how much length. I mean, this is like, this has got to be a little over a foot of train. And it's crazy to think that, like, in real life, they would be typically running at this speed, which is about, like, 60, 70 miles an hour, right? Like, the E6 were fast. They were fast. I mean, they weren't pulling a train like this, but they were pulling 10 to 12 passenger cars, maybe 14 or 15, you know? And then eventually they were bumped down to, freight once the G5s and the K4 started rolling through. But to think that they were going this fast is crazy. But I'm going to leave this live stream here, ladies and gents. I hope you guys enjoyed. I got to go run some errands. I rode Amtrak and we got up to 90 in Montana. That is sick. Yeah, I have yet to do an Amtrak trip, but I'll be planning that for one of the episodes of Ride the Rails, so stay tuned. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this lovely little 1 hour live stream. We actually did a lot. Ran a good couple of trains. Ran 2 trains. 1 train at almost top speed and another currently at top speed. But ride the new one. I'm gonna try. I'll definitely try. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. Go check out the new episode of Ride the Rails with Mr. Model Trains. Episode 2, we took a look at the Shoreline Trolley Museum in Connecticut. Awesome episode. I highly suggest you guys go check it out. But anyways, have a great day. Like, comment, subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys on the next train home. And enjoy this last little pass before I end the stream. Peace.